What's up, everybody? Tito Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. Ooh, yeah. It's only a few days before Christmas, so that means that you need to win money. Head over to Dr. Roto right now. Use code word DOC, get a percentage off of your subscription, and start winning at DFS and seasonal leagues today. Man, I did my round two coverage yesterday on my podcast, and then I also released my Macho pick of the week. So if you haven't caught that, you'll definitely want to head to Dr. Roto and check that out, along with all of the other great articles as well. I just can't even get it. But now it's time to bring the pain for the Ultra Contrarian Show. Ooh, yeah. Man, I'm ready for it. Last week turned out pretty good. I didn't think it would. FanDuel was easy. FanDuel was easy. DraftKings was a little harder to score on for some reason. It just didn't really work out. Scored like 116.5 on there. Practically only double ups on that one cash lineup. But whatever. That's what we're building anyways. Cash lineups. FanDuel was actually a lot easier. Scored 140.18. That was not bad at all. So definitely all in on that. And we're going to look to do the same this week. But I wanted to change things up. I started out with a stack. And here's the problem is everybody goes, a lot of the big hits have happened with stacks or game stacks or flipping from both sides. And this like kind of like the game we saw last night, between the Broncos and the Chargers. How at first it just kind of started out where Denver was kind of in that lead, and then the Chargers came back and won that game. However, there still wasn't a lot of good scoring in that game because like it was almost like everybody nobody cared about got a touchdown. And nobody cares about, I mean, yeah, maybe one person might have rostered a couple of those guys. But I've seen so many fullbacks getting play last night. I'm just like, I ain't trying to play that game. No, you need games like what happened between the Rams and the Bills, where like everybody that has a name scores touchdowns. I know that other people can score touchdowns, but I want my big names to score touchdowns just like this guy, right? That's why we do it. And that's why all of you tune in for my Ultra Contrarian Lineups. Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? So this week, I decided I am going to go against the grain. I am not going to stack anything. All my players are going to be literally the player I thought and went for in that game and pulled them out. So matchup, that's a big key right here. So I'm exploring a few matchups with a few of these players, and that's what I want to kind of to do. So let's run through my targeted players that I started with before I got wild on FanDuel. And I just kind of went to change my FanDuel lineup, and then I couldn't do it. I had to literally leave it. So I'm giving it to use. You can change it whatever way you want it, as always. But this is, again, just a building beacon. It's the base of what you can start on your journey to win a lot of money and make you our rich friend. Yeah. Woo. Let's get to it. Quarterback, Anthony Richardson. He's underpriced on DraftKings, but that's been about his price. He's at 5,400 on DraftKings. He has 7,400 on FanDuel. That's up a little bit more. I mean, you've got people under him that, like Rodgers, you could trust a little more, but at the same time, and for maybe the FanDuel lineup, maybe you do want to go with Rodgers and then bring it back because you'll understand that when I get to it. So 54, of course, I'm going Kyron Williams. Kyron Williams, man, 7,200 on DraftKings, and he's up there on FanDuel, but that's okay. A lot of the running backs are all like mid 8,000 right now, high now, right near the 9,000 mark. So if you want one, you either pick one or the other, or try to get both and try to go cheap at receiver. It's whatever way you want to go. But technically, I didn't really want to go too cheap at receiver. I want to keep these lineups exactly where they're at, cash wise, and also just trying to go and plug and click some great matchups, hoping that it's going to turn out to something good. Normally, it does turn out to good. So, like the last couple of weeks, I've been stacking, but I'm barely scoring because some of these games aren't turning out. Kind of like, the Cardinals last week. Harrison and Kyler Murray dropped the ball. Yet, I'm sitting here with Trey McBride and James Conner, and they're going off. So now you just killed my stack. And that's why sometimes I think people become too enamored with the stack and they go away from it. I've always not been a stack guy. I've always been a guy who's actually went, and even in baseball days, back to the Draft Street days. How many of you remember Draft Street, right? Draft Street. Yeah. But back in those days, you had three pitchers. You couldn't go expensive. If you wanted three pitchers, you were not going to. That was the first place that taught me to punt shortstop and punt catcher. Now, of course, people go, why would you punt shortstop? Well, Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't around back then, all right? I mean, there's other guys, but it doesn't matter. I mean, like Troy Tulowitzki, people like that back then, but even that burned out, fizzled out. So when I'm doing these lineups, I go, I want that person in that game that I think is going to score a touchdown. And of course, picking this way is going to be a lot harder. So I'm going to round out my second running back as
The macho pick of the week. Oh, yeah. Ain't nobody gonna take it to the house like James Carter. Yeah.
I love James Conner this week. Erie Strong. You know I'm from Erie. James Conner is from Erie, and he's a big part of the community. Actually, was just up here, I think, a month ago. I missed him. I missed him. I would have definitely loved to have touched base with him. Maybe next time I get a little heads up, and I could get there and represent Dr. Roto towards James Conner. But I mean, Erie Strong, Conner Strong has all been started here. This is why I've always been a big, huge James Conner fan. I know a lot of people that know him. He's a good dude, great guy for the community, kind of like Cliff Crosby. He's from here as well too. So that to me makes it a lot. Bob Sanders. Bob Sanders is from here. He does a lot for our community as well too. Erie, Pennsylvania. So James Conner, 7,100 on DraftKings and 8,400 on FanDuel. Again, everybody's around that mid price. So we're going to do it. Let's just jump over. Justin Jefferson, 8,200 on DraftKings. Okay, I'll take that. 8,200. Why it came to, when you see the rest of this lineup, you'll understand. Like when I was like, oh, I got 8,200. I wonder who that's going to go to. And I flipped up and I saw Justin Jefferson. I was like, you know what? I was going to try to get the Jamar Chase, but I'll take Justin Jefferson instead because even when he has a regular game like last week, now if I was paying 9,500 and I got his 7 catches, 70 yards, and 1 touchdown on the 13 targets, I think it was that I need more than that. So, but this week he gets definitely a great chance to do that. Seattle is definitely gonna be trying to ball. So as long as it's not too cold or anything's going raining on, it's a nice dry game. He should be able to. But regardless, they run so many routes and so many things with him that he's going to get the ball. So why not just jump in? And I love it. He's 9,000 on FanDuel, so we get a little up there. A guy who has a huge, 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 huge advantage this week, and everybody's going to be all over is none other than Jackson Smith-Njigba. JSN, 6,000 on DraftKings and 79 on FanDuel. He's priced up on FanDuel. So, he's right around that 8,000, 8,200 range right there. And there's quite a few other guys you could sway to. So on this lineup, I had Deebo Samuel on it because I really do feel with all the injuries to San Francisco's running backs, Deebo Samuel at 5,200 should be your plug and play wide receiver / running back because after last week, after he got beat by the Rams and got dropping balls, he was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that, but the thing is he had that touchdown and that same play. People are hitting us up going, I guess I shouldn't have played Purdy. I guess I shouldn't have played Deebo. No, you did. He just dropped the ball and had a really bad game. And that's not your fault. Everything you did, all of the research you did, it worked. But what didn't work was him. And that's because the Rams beat that ass. Yeah. Woo. Sorry, Danger. Anyway, Jason, 6,000, 7,900. Let's move on. I like Shakir in this right there. So again, Buffalo is going to be all in. They're in Buffalo. New England's coming to town, and Josh Allen really needs his MVP. He can't have another 8-point game, 1 touchdown game, and allow Lamar Jackson to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are injured right now. I mean, Pickens has been a real wake up for them because without Pickens right now, they haven't had any consistency in the passing game. It's been Pat Freiermuth. It's been Calvin Austin running around doing some wild stuff, maybe making a good catch. But there's a reason why the Rams never really saw the future in Van Jefferson. And there's a reason why Mike Williams always had a future, but always seemed to come up short. So when you have that as your number 1 and 2 receiver right now, and you have Austin doing his thing in the slot, you're not getting what you need. And that has been the Steelers' problem right now. That is why they're running a lot. But with Warren healthy and Harris running well, they have been able to stay keeping a lot of these games. This might not. They might get it. Baltimore needs this a lot more than Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can lose this game and still be okay, but right now Baltimore can't lose this game. They want to beat the Steelers. You think they're going to let the Steelers win the division, beat them twice in one season, maybe even a third time in the playoffs, and just go home about it? No, they're going to win a game, and this could be it. And unfortunately, that sucks because in a lot of my seasonal teams, I've got some Steelers, and I have the Steelers defense, which I cannot switch out. So I need the Steelers defense to keep that game close. So do that. But that being said, that is why Josh Allen is going to ball out. And look, I'm not saying that Shakir is going to go 190 and 2 touchdowns, but right now he's getting so much work than Amari Cooper that it's not even close. Right now, Shakir is Allen's guy, just like I said, along with a few other hosts in this industry said at the beginning of the year. Of course, I will go on record saying that Josh Allen is the Bills' offense. I've said this all off season. I've said this for 5 years now, and that's why I'm trying to tell all of you that when you do all the numbers just don't tell you who he likes. They don't tell you everything. That's why you have to watch the game. You have to, you just see, okay, well, Shakir had 9 targets and he only caught 5 balls for 40 and a touchdown. But you didn't see maybe that pass interference that called back a 40-yard catch by Shakir. You didn't see that, right? And you only know that if you watch the game and you don't put all of your eggs in the basket and always rely on numbers. So that is why Shakir at 5,966 on FanDuel is a great buy. The 5,900 on DraftKings, like I said, is perfect. Again, you can go down to Debo if you feel Debo will get a lot more work. I'm not worried about Buffalo sitting starters in this game because, again, Josh Allen wants his MVP, and the only way he's going to get that is if he throws at least 2 or 3 touchdowns and does exactly what he's been doing the last few games. Plus, I wouldn't mind that for some of my fantasy seasonal teams. Yeah. All right. Tight end. I don't like this guy. Every time I play this guy, this dude chumps out on me. So he might chump out on me again. But I'm doing Mike Gesicki. 3,300 on DraftKings, 5,000 on FanDuel. I love that price on FanDuel. 3,300 I'm fine with on DraftKings as well. He's definitely been getting the work, and he's getting the targets in that offense. So therefore, he's going to continue that. Plus, he is a threat in their for a touchdown. So when they're close and Chase Brown ain't getting the work done and Chase isn't getting the ball, then we're going to get a Gesicki touchdown. Plus, I'm going to grab him because a lot of people won't be gravitating to him. They're going to go up to Brock Bowers. They're going to go to Trey McBride. And that is the right move. That is the right move. But I'd rather have somebody like Shakir and Gesicki than someone like Trey McBride, and Tommy Tremble, right? Does that just sound a little better? So I'm not saying you'll pick Tommy Tremble, but there's somebody out there that will. And my boy Sanders needs to get back into that because, man, he was on a tear up until that injury, and then now they just don't even give him the ball. So whatever. That's why bad teams are bad. Panthers. Flex. Now somebody else. Everybody's going to be on as Amir Abdullah. 4,600 on DraftKings. The price is perfect. He's getting, last week he gets that touchdown. You're looking at 15 points around on DraftKings, I think it was. FanDuel, probably around that same region. But if he doesn't get that touchdown, he doesn't get that. 5,100 on FanDuel for his price there. So I'm saying that this is a risk, but I'd rather take a risk with 4,600 than the 5,100 on FanDuel. But at 5,100, I'm not going to argue. I'm going to throw him in this lineup. Again, you are seeing how this lineup is going. I am not stacking. And I told you. So let's get over to the defense. I'm going to go with Bears, 2,200 and 3,500 on FanDuel. Now, look, I know they're playing Detroit, but they're going to Chicago. Detroit's in shambles. Oh, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to run all over this really good defense, right? Meanwhile, Bayard's trying to knock fools out every single play. And Jahmyr has had a past that when he gets hit too much sometimes, he comes out of the game, which then brings in Craig Reynolds, and that ain't David Montgomery. Look, I'm not saying that this David Montgomery injury cripples the Lions, but everybody keeps going, lightning, thunder, lightning. David Montgomery was a guy that when the Lions needed to close a game out with a lead or take over the lead like they did week 1 with the Rams, they ran Montgomery down our throat. That's what they do. Nobody's scared about Craig Reynolds. You can rub Craig Reynolds down the throat the whole day and Booker in sweat. Ain't gonna care. Ain't gonna care. He is not David Montgomery. Don't get that twisted. So all you people that go pick them up, good luck, man. Hey, maybe he gets a touchdown. Maybe he goes 80 yards, and I should shut my mouth. But at the same time, if he don't, then he don't. And the Bears ain't that chumpy of a defense. They are good. They're just young and they made some bad plays. And the offense sucks and never gives them any time to rest. Because Caleb Williams is lost. Again, put him in a field with a tire and make him run drills for 5 hours because he needs some accuracy. People, yeah. All right. So that being said, those are my target players that you should target. Have all meaty matchups. A little bit contrary on some of those. I know that a lot of people, they probably will be going after Connor because, of course, Connor's at Carolina. But and I did that whole Arizona thing. I'm done with it. This is why I'm not stacking that game. And everybody goes, this is the week that Trey McBride scores. Look, he can score, but he hasn't scored all year. He just catches a lot of passes, and that's cute. But when you're in a GPP, you need that big breakout game. I can't pay 7,200. I can't pay 7,800 for a guy who's going to get 11 for 110. I would rather have the 7 for 150 and a touchdown. Of course, it sounds like it's more, but I would even have the 7 for 75 and a touchdown. Because in the end, it's going to equate to more. And that's what we need. That's what we in this way. With everybody running up there. I mean, would you rather have JSN or Trey McBride? Of course, you could probably say Trey McBride, but at least JSN is getting touchdowns. At least JSN is getting targets. Of course, if you wouldn't know that, if you look at his things, you go, hey, look, he's getting targets. No, watch a game. Telling you. Bang. So let's get to it. FanDuel for the year, 12-4. DraftKings, 11-5. Run it out. Here's your DraftKings lineup, $100 left over. Richardson, Kyron Williams, James Conner, Justin Jefferson, JSN, Khalil Shakir, Mike Gesicki. We got Amir Abdullah and the Bears defense. Whoa. What happened on the FanDuel lineup? Heat override? Well, heat override got wild. Jalen Hurts, James Conner, Kyron Williams, JSN, Garrett Wilson, either DJ Moore or Keenan Allen. Right there, you have all the money in the world. Mike Gesicki, Amir Abdullah, and the Giants defense. You have $100 to come up. I think the $100 on that one too, unless it's all faded out, only leads to Cincinnati. Now, again, if you want to take somebody like Garrett Wilson out, who is around $7,100 on that site, and you want to come down to somebody like Deebo Samuel and then pop up. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Look, the Rams are bad in the back end. I've been saying it for weeks. I've been attacking it for weeks, and it keeps going on. But at some point, Davante Adams isn't going to have the 30-point touchdown or game. He's not going to have that. He's going to have just regular 15 to 20, like Wilson's been doing. And Wilson, however, will do that. Here's the thing is that the Rams secondary is set up for bigger receivers like Davante Adams. Not saying we're going to stop him, but we're set up better for that. But somebody like Garrett Wilson's going to scorch our ass. So that's why I'm picking Garrett Wilson for that play. And normally you wouldn't see me paying up for Hurts either. But I want Hurts in this lineup because this lineup gives you a ton of chances for touchdowns. Again, a lot of people will not be on Kyron Williams, but you know what? We're going to horns up, Rams strong, Dodgers Nation, all LA all day, and always remember to bring the pain. May the points be with you.